Danny.
Big Jeff, what's happening?
Ready to go. Let's do this.
Lovely Reno, Nevada, a former Duds and Suds. That worked out real well. Back and forth with Dawn. And we did talk to Dawn on the 4th. Tell me what happened.
We talked to him on the 4th. He said he was on a construction site. Didn't really sound like it. He was kind of fumbling around. Didn't give any information. Didn't know square footage. Didn't want to talk about the rent. He was more than willing to tell us what the old tenants were paying. And at the end of the call, you're just kind of like, hey, screw you. And
yeah, he's basically hemming and hawing around, and this is not any type of priority for him whatsoever. We got to try to nail him down on the lease rate, but he's always at a barbecue or in his car or something of that nature.
Right.
So
sounds like he's waiting to list it, because he had mentioned that when we talked last. Oh, I haven't listed it yet. I need to work on it. So it seems like he wants to put it out there before he commits to anything.
You're going to list it. Take all comers. All right, let's hit Dawn again. Here we go. Subscribe. Don't miss the lives.
Hello.
Dawn, it's Danny the laundry guy. How's it going?
Danny, I'm good. How you doing? That's a good last name you've adopted.
Well, we've talked twice, so I figured maybe you saved my number, Danny D'Angelo.
Yeah, no, I know. I recognize your voice. Nice talking to you again. I guess we got cut off last time we were talking. I'll be happy to present whatever you feel will work for you to the owners. The situation at that space right now is there's a couple people looking at it, but not for laundry use. And there's actually a couple that have expressed interest for laundry. Who knows about that? But depending on which way it goes, the owners are getting ready to do some roof work, and that laundry has a lot of roof penetration. So if it gets leased as a laundry, obviously they'll stay. And if it gets leased as something else, which might be a possibility, then none of that stuff is needed anymore. And they're getting ready to do some roof work, so they're trying to make a decision on that. But happy to present. If you want to figure out what makes sense for you to get involved, be happy to see if we can get it done.
100%. Let me touch on what I believe are 3 points that you mentioned. Firstly, you're correct. Coin laundromats always have tons of roof penetrations for the candy canes, the air, for the makeup air as well, for the dryers, what we call tumblers in the industry. So that's common. And normally the air conditioning is shot too, because if there's 20 years of usage for a laundromat, you'd be surprised, because HVAC units not only cool the air, but also remove moisture. And laundromats are very hard on the units because there's tons of heaters inside of the location, which are the tumblers. Sure. And then, all the washers throw tons of moisture into the air.
So every HVAC unit on the entire building was replaced within the last year. They're all brand new.
Good for you. The other thing is, sure, if we're no longer moving forward with laundromat, I can't blame you. These places go away because the lease rates that we can pay are not even typically the standard rate, much less what might be a Neiman Marcus versus Walmart. That said, I don't blame you for looking at other options, whether it's a convenience store or a national chain. But I can't send
you. There's a kidney dialysis business that's been looking for a big space, and that's one possibility. But the interesting thing about that laundromat, the current owners have owned the building for a few years, but obviously they inherited all the lease files from the former owners. So there's been 3 owners, well, maybe more, I don't know, but that we know of that laundromat. The first one sold it to somebody, and then that party ran it for a while and sold it to somebody else. And not only did they sell it for a pretty good chunk of change, all their financials are in the lease files, and they were doing well up until COVID. And the last owners who, I don't know for sure, but my opinion is they really didn't know how to operate any business, much less a laundromat. So, they just kind of got themselves into trouble. Plus COVID
having run 36 stores in 3 states, let me tell you this: the person that builds the laundromat isn't able to earn. Why would you spend all of that money on gas, water, electric, environmental impact fees? It's almost impossible to recuperate those costs, right? So they're built by distributors typically. The equipment gets sold for double the worth. It becomes a showroom where they're basically selling you not a car, but the entire dealership. That's what they do. So the next operator comes in and is able to earn money because they're not building that infrastructure out. Then they sell it, and the 3rd, 4th, 5th operator has no idea what they're doing. Our modus operandi is simple because we are after that infrastructure that's there. We wouldn't be talking if it wasn't still intact. And you're keeping those options open. I have a simple question. I need to know from you, Don, what the rate of rent is. And if it is commensurate, we will put together a letter of intent if it makes any sense whatsoever. You're weighing all of these options. You're the beautiful girl, and prom is next week, so you have to figure out who you're taking to the dance. If we throw our hat in the ring, it may not make sense versus the kidney dialysis place. And you might have to spend $80,000 to vanilla the spot, but it may make perfect sense for you. I really don't know. But again, we've been asking for almost a month. What's the rate? What do you want to collect here?
Well, I wish I had an answer for you. I don't. I could do a little checking on other leases there. I'm in LA, so I'm a little out of the loop on the market up there. But obviously, they're hoping to get market rate, or somewhere in that vicinity of what other similar spaces are going for. But they haven't listed the property yet because of these other things they're trying to sort through. And not to mention the fact they've got guarantees from 3 people on that lease that they may or may not be able to collect from. That remains to be seen. So. The original owner, the guy that sold, the next owner, and then the final owner that moved out. So you're telling me that you have 3 guarantors on this space? Well, the original owner subleased it, so the operator. You're not talking about the landlord, the operator. The owner of the laundromat. And I don't know. I think they're the ones that, I don't really know who built it out. It's been there a while, so it could have been even somebody else besides them. I don't really know. But anyway, on the leases that we have, the original operator, which goes back several years, sold it to somebody called, I think it was Battleborn Patriots or some name like that. And then obviously there was individuals involved, and then they in turn, after operating it for some period of time, sold it to the latest people. And each one of them was individually on the lease, and their lease obligations continued because they assigned their lease. They didn't cancel their lease. So now, who knows? I understand every word, but that's neither here nor there, nor does it have anything to do with us moving forward. If they want to try to collect on 4 operators ago because they're still guarantors, okay. Well, yeah, but I mean that's just why it hasn't been. And the other reason it hasn't been listed is we are not happy with the broker we've been using up there, and we frankly haven't found another one that we think is. Well, why list it when you've got someone on the phone who wants to remain with the same defined use? I'm after the infrastructure. Don't forget the gas, water, electric is there. It is commensurate and appropriate for our business. The difference with us, Don, we're going to spend well over $300,000, maybe $500,000 in F&E. The furnishings and equipment for us is washers and dryers. Sure. And then we're going to market the hell out of this place, and we're going to bring the consumers back in. Every consumer in a laundromat, it's a word of mouth thing. It's all WOM, and they've already found another service center. No one drives around with dirty laundry in their trunk looking for a laundromat. They already know where they're going. So we need to drive, bring them back kicking and screaming. We need rent abatement for a decent period,
Again, it may not work, but my brother, you've got my cell phone. I sent you an email. I just need to know what your rate is. So let me know where you're at.
Well, I can tell you the owners are not going to tell me what their lowest and best rate is because I don't even know if they know, but I will definitely.
So let me know what the rate. I can't. I mean, this isn't a tactic. I'd like to give you 75 cents a square foot and gross rate, but that isn't going to happen. It's 2022. So at the end of the day, I can't tell you what our best rate is, not because it's a game, but I don't know what you're looking for here. And if they do have other offers on the table, my first inclination is say, good luck. But I'm not excited about the space just because there's infrastructure there, but I do know it would be great for us. It'd be a shame if it went away, but then my other stores would be elevated. So again, there's no offers at the moment, but there's conversations. Okay. I mean, obviously people are calling because I'll put a letter of intent in your hands in an hour, but I need to know what your rate is. This is my cell phone. Feel free to text me what it is, but that's the jumping off point. Otherwise, I'll call you in another week.
Well, I mean, until the property gets listed, I don't think I'm going to have a rate. I mean, I can tell you a rate I'd like, but it's probably not what you want to pay, so I don't know what it would mean. You know?
Well, if you're insane and you want $2.75 a square foot because that's market rate, not for LA, but for Reno, Nevada, I'll tell you a laundromat can't survive there. You understand the difference. I'm not a nail salon, right? I don't have 27 employees doing work. I'm not a dollar store where I'm buying stuff for 50 cents, selling it for double. I'm a laundromat. So I do half my business on Sunday. I play catch up the rest of the week. We're your best possible operator for a laundromat. But again, I just need to know what the rate is. You can text it to me. You can let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to do that until the property's listed because I'm just I don't have that authority to make up a number, and they don't know what the number should be. I mean, if they do list the property, they're going to probably ask the broker to do some kind of market study and come up with a recommendation. So, you know,
all right. We can all sit on our hands. But you're the listing. You're not the listing agent. You're the broker. You're the guy that knows. Ask somebody at the top in the Monday meeting and find out what the rate is. That's all I'm asking for. So
I have. They don't really know. None of them live in Reno. None of them are familiar with the market.
What would you do if you were me? You want me to write an offer for 75 cents?
Figure out.
Get ignored?
Well, 75 cents isn't going to work because if 75 cents it would lease in 5 seconds. But something that makes sense that you think would make sense for everybody. That's fair. That'll work for you.
But my debt service on the equipment will be thrice that. And I know that.
Well,
because we're not trying to. Your last 3 operators limped this place along with old, nasty equipment and poor operating procedures. That's not us.
Well, it wasn't old equipment when they first put it in, and I have their financials. They were making a lot of money. The first 2 guys, the third guys never provided financials as they were supposed to. The first 2 guys made a lot of money in that space, surprising amount of money, and they sold it for a crazy high price, which is probably why it's the same thing with restaurants.
I heard you say that.
Yeah, same thing with restaurants. Yeah.
All right, Don. Thanks for the time. Text me when you have a rate.
You bet. Thanks.
I do this all day. All day. This is what I do, and I end up drained.
Yeah.
We've called this guy 3 times. The first time he was at a volleyball game, the second time he was in his car, and this time he doesn't know because he doesn't live in Reno. You understand, you have to stick to the standards of negotiating. You never see a guy on a street corner. You just won the lottery. You got $100,000, a big knot of money burning a hole in your pocket. And the guy pulls up in a 57 Corvette and you say, I love that car. I always wanted one. I'll give you $100,000. The worst thing that could happen is the guy says, okay, and throws you the keys. Then you find out the numbers don't match. It's a 57.5. It's got a new engine and it's a 6-cylinder. The veneer begins to crack, right? This guy's basically saying, yeah, you can buy this car. Just tell me what you want. There's a blue book. And we must know what the standard rate is. I'm not going to go look it up. Oh, I know 75 cents won't work. A dollar isn't that far off, and that's where we should be. And he knows that. It's a game. It's all a game, and I'm not willing to play outside of the rules, nor will I put your neck in a noose. What he's looking to happen here, and I don't think he's playing the game in that way, what he's looking is for us to send him a proposal. He said they had 3 people interested, intrigued. He said offers, rewind the tape. And then at the end, he said, we don't have any offers.
Right.
Because I said, my first inclination is to tell you to pound sand when you tell me you have other offers. Oh, well, they're not offers. What are they?
They're just conversations.
Oh, they're just conversations. Thank you very much. And I was typing madly. When we're on these calls, you've got to take the notes. Like, you're the secretary.
Can you see them?
I think you put them further down. No big deal. So I know what I think.
Yeah, I'm typing.
We cannot move forward. We're not going to send the guy a letter of intent and have it ignored. We're not there. And he keeps threatening he's going to have to list it. He doesn't do any research whatsoever. Sorry.
That's the insane part. Oh, gotta get it listed, but they're not doing anything with it. They're not doing any of the research on it.
I'm going to put a kidney dialysis place in there, man. You know. Okay.
Sure.
It's going to cost. The vanilla threat is real. It's in my course. I talk about it all the time. If they vanilla this space, he said it himself, the roof penetrations, all of the things that make something a laundromat are very costly to remove. It's not just like removing a dollar store where you take the cash register and throw it in the dumpster and you take all the shelves away. It's different. A laundromat beats up this. He said a lot of things, and most of it, oh, they made a ton of money. Are you trying to market me, dude? Are you trying to talk me into leasing the space? I called you, not the other way around.
So what's the play?
The play is nothing.
He's not going to text you.
The play is nothing. There is no play. He's not going to do the work. He's the fact that he said I'm not in Nevada was nuts. Like, what? What does that have to do with anything?
So I'm even confused on his role. He's the broker, but he was complaining about.
You know what? Go back to this. Go back to this
here.
Company and dig a little further. Find out if they have a Reno office. Let's do that kind of thing. We're not going to end run the guy. We need to find somebody that understands. He said everybody that works there is out of LA and nobody knows anything about Reno. Okay, sounds good.
Right.
Hard to believe. I would dig into it. Try to find some more information on that. All right.
Okay.
I'll let you know if he does text anything. Talk to you soon.
Hey, do you got time for a couple more?
Absolutely. Let me call you right back.
No problem.
All day, this is what I do. Look, if I turn this into a 60-second TikTok, what are you going to see? You're going to see the shenanigans of a broker. Hi, I'm Danny. And this would turn into a 60-second TikTok of a broker saying, I don't know. It's comedy. I'm not sure. What was it, 3, 4 times that I asked him, what's your rate of rent? That'd make a great TikTok, wouldn't it? That'd make a great YouTube short, wouldn't it? I'm not an entertainer. I might be entertaining, but I'm not an entertainer. I'm a lease negotiator. I didn't start that way. I started by buying a laundromat for $250,000. Wow, what a mistake. I didn't know that. I was young. I had the money. I always had good jobs, stands for just over broke. I put money away. Then I started on a real estate ladder, most of it in Mexico, where I did really well, extremely well, because of the volatility down there. So here I am, this guy with money, much younger than I am now, and I'm going to go out and do a brick and mortar business. Why not laundromats? There was no information. There weren't a dozen channels on YouTube about it, I'll tell you that. So, found a broker, bought a laundromat for $250,000. Wow, what a mistake. Because my next door, I would learn from that one. I'm the kind of guy that said, well, this place is horrible. It's not making money. I was lied to in every way. Should I just run away or sell it? By the way, it was 300 grand. They're always 300 grand. I thought I was getting a deal at 250. I wasn't. The employees that were working there, getting paid under the table, fired them day 2. Started fixing what needed to be fixed, not in the equipment, but the procedures. Zero advertising. The biggest thing on the front glass on that store, is a 3,000 square foot store, was the phone number. Can you imagine? This previous operator thought that when someone's standing in front of the laundromat, the one thing they needed to know was the phone number. From there down, everything was wrong, and I fixed it. Then I realized when I was retooling that store that I needed to start looking at other laundromats, at other locations, starting in the Phoenix area. And I did. And I started scooping them up by doing what I do now. I was begged, kicking and screaming, almost 20 years ago, Danny, can you call landlords for me? How's that going to work? Well, it does. You're seeing the end result. I don't publish all of the wins because those are ongoing consultations with people like you. And they don't get the attention that a short video of this guy saying, I don't know what my lease rate is in my own property. I'm in California. Me go, zoink, zoink. That gets a lot of attention. God bless you. The realities of this, you need to sign a lease before you take another step. Then you bring the distributors in and say, look, silly, I have a lease. I own this space. Let's see what you can do for equipment. These distributors are now going to step in line, give you the proper pricing so you can retool that store. Then procedures. How are you going to advertise? It's not easy. Coat drives, barbecues, that sounds simple. It is. It's just not easy. This is a phenomenal business. Try to look up facts, figures. Try to figure out just this. Go research how many laundromats exist in the U.S. There are no known facts. Even the associations surrounding this industry don't know. Why? Because so many small laundromats in these tiny hamlets sit there, 2nd Street back from Maine, without a telephone. Therefore, they're not listed in Google. They're not listed on Yelp. And they're just falling apart, slowly becoming more and more decrepit. On this call, we had Dawn saying, oh, it's a great business. They made tons of money. Don't sell me, dude. Tell me what your rate of rent is, and if it makes sense, we'll send you a letter of intent, and my student on the call will own that laundromat. There is work to be done. Dig in. Grab my course. Let's consult. Let's talk. That's what I've become. I'm Danny D'Angelo. I'm the no shit guy, and that's why you love me. I got more calls to make. Ciao.